We are back on the road with a WSI heavy haulage model, and this one is an MAN TGX XXL 8x4 tractor, and it's pulling a Nooteboom 5-axle MPX trailer. It is in the colours of Silvasti, which is a heavy haulage company in Finland, and I wonder if that's how they pronounce the name, Silvasti. The box is the usual style for a WSI truck model, and actually the parts are the usual parts for a truck model. Something slightly unusual is that there's some packaging which secures a pin on the landing legs. And certainly a big plus point is that this model comes with a proper little manual. It covers the trailer and it starts off with information about the real trailer and plenty of nice looking photos of it in action. And then the second half of the manual is devoted to the model. It shows the main features of the trailer and also the parts that have to be fitted. We start with the MAN, and if you want you can stick a pin into the towing hitch at the front. But if you think it's too much to see a naked pin, well, you can clip a cover on the front instead, and then the pin will just have to stay in the accessory bag. We quickly run around to the other end, and there is a towing hitch to assemble there with a funnel and then a pin that drops in. These are painted parts and they all fit very nicely. Next we join up the tractor and trailer in the time-honoured fashion, and it's as simple as clunk click does the trick. Only one more thing to add, and that's marker boards which go underneath the gooseneck. As expected, the MAN has a very nicely detailed chassis, and the cab looks very convincing in the Silvasti colour scheme. The model has realistic number plates and there are coiled lines behind the tower. But as this is a particularly heavy tractor, it's worth having a look at that tower. And it looks really good, particularly with that fan in its mesh cage. The underside of the MPX trailer is really good with some excellent detailing. And you can see the various tanks and hoses that have been intricately modelled, and there are wheel chocks underneath as well. The wheels look smart with their nice tyres. There's some very intricate detail with tiny graphics on the gooseneck, and the quality of the finish of the deck is excellent with bolt head details above the pendle axles. At the back there's more high detail with tiny lights and graphics. We start out on the Cranes etc. test track. And the MAN rolls reasonably well, but it needed a bit of downward pressure for all of the wheels to turn properly. The front two axles have link steering, but they only turn to a fairly shallow angle. But you know, we always say it on Cranes etc., something is better than nothing. Let's move on and check out the engine under the cab so we can tilt the cab nicely forward. And then we use the Cranes etc. patented super side shift hand crane to view the engine closely. It is nicely detailed and it has got the MAN name on it. Moving on to the trailer, and this is an unusual 5-axle version. And in ordinary mode all of the wheels are grounded and turn nicely. There is sprung suspension on the rear 3 axles, and the rear 4 axles all have linked steering. This works very well and it has a very good range of movement. There is another nice feature on this trailer, which is that axles 1 and 2 can be pushed up and raised out of service. The range of movement is good with a decent ground clearance. Another unusual feature on this model is the landing legs, and that's because they are pinned with very small pins. Once the pin is removed you can lower the landing leg, and you can repin it in a couple of other positions. Of course, if you want to go mad, just like the Cranes etc. technician, you can pull out the whole landing leg, and sadly that's just typical of some of the people employed by Cranes etc. Other features include deck posts which can be put in a variety of positions, and to widen the deck you can also pull out tiny support beams. For this you probably need to make sure you've got some fingernails, but luckily you don't need fingernails on the full size trailer. All you need to do is to grab a handful of the extending beam and pull it out. And if you are stood there not knowing why you pulled it out, push it back in. With the supports pulled out, you can widen the deck by fitting some plastic replica timbers. These are a very good fit, but they take a bit of patience to get them all in the right position, and you have to be careful not to knock them off. Another impressive feature of the trailer is that it extends, and then you get a much longer trailer. So with the trailer extended, let's do a dim check and get the tape out. And end to end it measures 21 inches or about 54 centimeters. Let's try out a couple of loads, and we start with this massive fabricated truss. Or if you like to move some big crane parts, let's try some boom sections. These are wider than the deck, so don't forget to pull out the marker boards. This is another impressive and very attractive model by WSI Models. Both the tractor and the trailer are highly detailed, and the trailer offers plenty of functionality and flexibility. The Silvasti colour scheme is also very nice, and the whole package adds up to an excellent model.